All right. That's, so I feel kind of bad because you just heard some great preaching. And look, I'm a badass. I say bad things. So look, let me just start out by saying that sometimes I use a bad word, sometimes I'm harsh. But if I offend anybody here tonight, I don't give a shit. Okay. So look, this is the second time I came out of retirement for President Trump, who happens to be the greatest president in my lifetime. So I was the first guy the president called, and I remember after the election, I'm out to dinner with my wife, and the phone's sitting on the table, and all of a sudden it rings and says, POTUS. My wife says, shit. She goes, he's going to ask you to come back. So I walked outside, and first thing out of his mouth was, Tom, you've been bitching about it for 4 years. Want to come back and fix it? He says, you're damn right. Let's go. So look, Joe Biden took the most secure border of my lifetime under Trump 45 and unsecured it on purpose. The first president in the history of this nation who came into office and unsecured a border on purpose. Wasn't an accident, wasn't mismanagement. So where are we at today? Tonight, as I'm talking to you, we got the most secure border in the history of this nation. In the history. Illegal immigration down 96%. That means 96% less people are coming. With 96% less people coming, how many women aren't being raped by the cartels? How many children aren't dying making that journey? How many pounds of fentanyl isn't getting to the country to kill Americans? How many women and children aren't sex trafficked, unlike the last administration? President Trump's policies are saving lives every day. And look, I wake up like a kid in a candy shop every day because I'm working for this guy. And you know what? Every day is an adventure because I knew he's going to let us do what we do to not only secure the border, but remove millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden led in this country. On top of the success we already had, the last administration, 500,000 children were trafficked into this country. The last administration lost track of 300,000. Trump's already found thousands of these children. Some of the children were with family members, but some of the children were in sex trafficking and forced labor. Matter of fact, one person we found, one male, had custody of over 20 migrant children, many females. And this administration allowed that to happen. President Trump and myself are not going to be satisfied till we find every single child and save them. The last administration simply didn't give a shit. They didn't. And it's just terrible. I don't care what side of politics you're on. When you got a child trafficked in this country for forced labor and sex trafficking, all hands should have been on deck. Under President Trump, all hands are on deck. And look, I always get asked the question, why did they open the border up? Why did they do that? Why did they release people? Let me tell you the secret. They played the long game. Let millions of people cross the border, and let's release them. Let's put them in a hotel room at $500 a night. Give them 3 meals a day. Give them free medical care and give them work authorization. That brought the whole world to the greatest nation on earth. We left thousands of empty ICE beds at $127 a night, empty. Thousands of them. They released them to NGOs at $500 a night. Why did they do that? Because they knew if they're in ICE detention, they get a hearing within 40 days, 90% lose their case, they get sent home. That is not what they wanted. They're playing the